Hey, this is Mike. It has been brought to my attention by this guy that there is an imposter out on the market. An Auxbeam imposter. So Auxbeam is the light that I did a pretty detailed review on. How do you put it together, the quality of it, the durability. I did a torture test and all that stuff. So the Auxbeam is a high quality product, as I demonstrated. Now, this looks very similar to this, but it is not even close to being the same product. When you see these lights out on the market and they don't say Auxbeam on it, then it's just some cheap knockoff product, and I'll show you it's totally different. You might think, well, they just put the name brand on it and it's the same thing, but no, it's totally different. Especially if you order this and you don't have a Auxbeam to compare it side by side, then you might think, well, these are just cheap lights. And but that's not true. The Auxbeam is a very high quality light. It is priced very competitively. So if you think they're skimping on quality, you're going to be dead wrong when you actually see one in person. When you actually get a real Auxbeam right here, then you'll see how quality is. But if you happen to get one of these cheap knockoffs, then you're going to see some cheap junk. I mean, I don't know. Really, these vary in price, but they're not really that much cheaper than just getting an Auxbeam. The Auxbeam is well worth the price. If this one was like, 1/10 of the price or something, then maybe if you're going to put it on some, cheap throwaway thing. But if you're going to put it on a, your nice Jeep or your boat or your ATV or something like that, and you want to count on it, you want to be able to wire it up correctly and all that stuff, definitely just spend a few extra dollars, get the Auxbeam, and don't even worry about this one. Now, one thing I'll just show you, that the knockoff has this mount right here, and it's made out of some kind of cheap aluminum, and it's very lightweight. It feels very flimsy and everything. The Auxbeam is made out of stainless steel. It's solid metal. It's very heavy duty. It's not cheap. It's not gonna break. It's not going to bend. It would take a heck of a lot of pressure to bend this. So that's one thing right off the bat. Now the Auxbeam, you will probably notice in the other video that I did, that the reflectors are of high quality, but also they are all the way down to the board where the LEDs are. You can see right there, they're completely flush. Also notice that the LEDs are in the center of the reflectors. So you notice that. This one, now this is a floodlight, so it has a little bit different deflector style, but you can see that the reflectors there are not all the way down on the board. So some of the light is actually getting behind the board, which is, cutting down on the efficiency of the light. Not all the light is escaping the actual, container. So you can see that. Plus, you'll notice that some of these LEDs are not really centered. So the reflectors can't really do their job if they are not completely centered there. Let's see if I can get the focus. But you can see they're kind of a little bit offset in there, some of them. So that's another issue. Also, the overall build quality is cheap on the knockoff. It's a totally different type of metal. So like, say if I just tap this versus I tap the Auxbeam, this is feels more solid, and it has a different sounding aluminum housing, and this one is just like so it's a totally different material. And also you could probably notice this one, which I didn't even notice that before. This one, this is new out of the box, by the way. It already has like a crack in the metal there. Didn't even notice that before. So that's just an indicator of the cheap quality you're going to get with these cheap knockoffs. It's already broken as soon as you take it out of the box. Also, you notice that it has just a hole there for the wire to go into, and I don't even know about how that's sealed up, but it just has like this open hole there for anything to go in apparently. Now the Auxbeam, on the other hand, has this heavy duty rubber grommet. Another thing is the Auxbeam has a wire that actually gives you the ratings on it, and it is a heavy duty, like a really strong rubber feeling wire. So the rubber is, see if I can focus in on that. The rubber is just, you can just tell in your hand that it's high quality. Now at the ends of the wires, you can see that it is copper wiring, and with some good thickness. Now let's look at the knockoff wiring. And this is just some smooth plastic, not rubber, insulation around the wires. But take a look at the ends. Now there is some solder there, but if you really look, you can tell these are just aluminum. This is a thin aluminum wiring. So aluminum wiring is fine as long as you increase the gauge. So I know this is not a high draw device, but you know, you're taking a quality hit there with the aluminum wiring. They're thin aluminum wiring, so you would think they would at least increase the gauge if they're going to use that. But no, this is a cheap, they're just made to sell, and they don't really care about quality apparently. So the Auxbeam is of higher quality, absolutely, not just my opinion, in the wiring, in the housing, the hardware, and also, I mean, you know, like I said, this one's already cracked right out of the box, and I didn't even know that until I started rolling the camera. I just took it out and started doing the video. So you can probably tell the thickness of this side where it's cracked. You can see it's pretty thin. Now if you can tell, that's pretty thin. Let's look at the Auxbeam. It is a lot thicker, heavier duty aluminum. So there you have it. Watch out for the be aware of the cheap knockoffs that do not say Auxbeam. And even if they do say Auxbeam, make sure you're buying from an authorized Auxbeam dealer, because anybody could just write Auxbeam on there and counterfeit them. So you want to be aware of that. Make sure it says Auxbeam is who you're buying it from, preferably their website, or they do have an Amazon offering there too. So check into what you're buying. There is a bunch of cheap stuff out there that looks identical in the pictures. If you're just looking at pictures, you might not be able to tell. You're not going to be able to tell. You're just going to think, well, it's the same thing. Totally different, super low quality, super high quality. Price difference is not that much. Definitely go with the Auxbeam. That's my opinion. And I've demonstrated, have very good arguments here that this is higher quality than this. And so anyways, pay attention to the LEDs. LEDs are kind of a new thing, I guess you can say, as far as the prices coming down now. So people are, you know, buying them up, putting them on their vehicles, and you know, stuff like that. It's a very good lighting source, and there is some high quality stuff out there. Auxbeam is one of those high quality companies. They have really good customer service. They got an awesome warranty. This is just some cheap stuff that I do not recommend. So anyways, thank you for the Fox over here for letting me know that there's a counterfeit out there, and we'll keep an eye out for them, and hopefully you will not have wasted your money on the cheap knockoffs. So don't do it in the future. Thanks for watching. See you next time.